Welcome to the LUHU Advisor Show with your host, Paul Solomon. LUHU Advisors is your one-stop call to help quarterback and organize all your needs for senior planning, from finances, insurance, long-term care, and estate planning documents. At LUHU Advisors, let us help you with planning for the future. Now enjoy the show.
Hi everybody and welcome to LUHU Advisors. My name is Paul Solomon and this is my show. So welcome to the world of financial planning for baby boomers and seniors. You're going to get to know me personally. You're going to get to know what I do. Over the next weeks and months, I will bring on people that I trust, that I work with every day, every week, to help baby boomers and seniors understand either what's coming or what's here already, and that's the crisis mode that a lot of people operate in, on how to plan for long-term care for themselves, for their loved ones, mom and dad and grandparents, and figure out what they need to do so they don't fall into the same trap as their parents or loved ones. It's an easy trap to fall into. Pre-planning, as we know, a lot of people do not like to do it. They'll plan for dinner, they'll plan for their vacations, but when they want to plan for their future, it's always a backseat. Yeah, we'll do it next week and we'll do it next week. I fell into this 13 years ago with my own family. The market collapsed, the financial markets collapsed. At the same time, my dad just started getting signs of dementia. And he told my mom one day, listen, I think you need to take care of the finances anymore. I can't handle it. And that day, 2009, my mom called me and she said, you have to come. Dad can't handle the finance anymore and I have no idea how to read a financial statement. And that's kind of where my journey started. I've been in real estate and insurance my whole life. I'm a licensed real estate broker, and I have been since 1988, and I'm also a licensed insurance agent in life, long-term care, and annuities, a 215 and 218 license. I'm also a licensed administrative for assisted livings, and I'm a certified senior advisor. And with all this in my background, it kind of was a challenge dealing with my own family. My parents became my first client. And it really has taken on a life of its own over the last 13 years, where LUHU Advisors came together last year, probably the second half of COVID, where I decided that it was time. It was time to me to open up LUHU Advisors, and LUHU stands for Let Us Help You, something my wife created. And we put it together so that we can get the information out there, because I've been getting so many phone calls over the last couple of years, especially when COVID hit, what to do with their parents, their loved ones, when they were kind of trapped in the house. People then started finally realizing what their parents or grandparents had, whether it was financial, whether it was legal documents, or just the social aspect when people were trapped in the surroundings that we were in. And they saw how it really took effect on the family, and everybody had to chip in as best as possible. I sit down with the family, like I did with my parents 13 years ago, and we went through everything. We started with the financials. We started with the legal documents, the estate planning documents. We talked about bringing help into the house. We talked about my dad, who was a veteran of the Korean War. And try to figure out, okay, what benefits we're capable of getting through the VA. And then we touched on Medicaid. And Medicaid became, over the last 13 years, something that I've done for hundreds and hundreds of clients, 100% successful getting these benefits. But the misinformation about VA benefits, the Medicaid benefits, that is out there even today is mind-boggling. And unfortunately, there's not one source. It's not something you can Google every day. There's not a page on on Facebook and or Google to say, hey, we live in Florida, let me look up Medicaid, let me look up VA, and here's the answers. Most of the times if you do that, you see that you can't qualify, and you stop right there. But depending upon if you ask your financial advisor, I've spoken to many over the years, they're not fluid on the information on these benefits. Your CPA is not fluid on these benefits. If you go and speak to your estate planning attorney, he might dabble into these benefits, but really you need to speak to somebody that understands it all. And that's kind of the Certified Senior Advisor certification that I got. Because I've been doing it for 13 years and touching on all the different subjects, I really sit down with that family and bring it all together. It's been a long journey, and you'll get to hear about my own family. My dad passed away 2.5 years ago from dementia. Once that happened and then COVID hit, my mom then developed dementia. She will be 94 next month. She's hanging in there, but it's a sad thing to go through being a caregiver. She's in a memory care community. We'll talk about those too, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And it's just a whole process. Emotions, guilt, everybody feels it. I've gone through it. Every day I have to fight it, dealing with my own family. But then again, I'm thrown into everybody else's family situations, siblings fighting. It's about the money, it's not about the money, who's going to take control, who's going to be involved. And again, every week, Tuesdays at 7:30, we're going to go through this process. And I'm going to bring people on with me that I trust, that hopefully you can then trust, and we'll take questions whether it's live. People can reach out to me during the day if they'd like and hit my website. My phone number, 954-540-6609. That's personal. If you want to call during the half-hour shows, the number is 888-994-4995, and we're in Studio A. Reach out, and I'll answer the questions, probably pretty general on air. Love to speak to you the next day. Usually I work with families the first 45 minutes to an hour, free consultation. Let me see what's going on in your life. Let me see if I can help you. Sometimes it's just me directing you to somebody else and let them take over. Or I'll try to explain what you think you might know, what you don't know, what your friends have told you, what your people that you play golf, tennis, go out to breakfast with, all this misinformation that's out there saying, no, you can't do this. I'm going to say, maybe you can. And we'll reach out to each other and be able to tell you war stories, because again, I'm in it every day. So besides helping families for the last 13 years, every day I've been living this within my own family, dealing with my own brother and sister, having my wife help me get through this. So it's a challenge.
Yes, questions.
Questions?
On the
Yes.
first consultation meeting, do you need original documents like HIPAA, power of attorney? Are copies okay? Or what if we don't have anything?
Yeah, usually the first conversation I have with you in this free consultation, it's usually either over the phone, Zoom meetings. If you are here locally, then I would meet with you. As much information as you can get about your loved ones that we're going to talk about, the better it is. So whether it's the power of attorney, people don't realize the age of their power of attorney matters. If it's from an out-of-state power of attorney because they lived in another state and they haven't updated it in 10 or 15 years, we'll go over that. So legal documents, definitely. Financial accounts, where's the money sitting? Is it sitting in an IRA, qualified money? Is it sitting in a CD? Is it just sitting in a bank account? Whose name's on those bank accounts? Who's the beneficiaries on those bank accounts? As much information as you can get, that's as much as we'll start with, and then we'll go from there. Usually I have an intake form. So if somebody calls me and we have an appointment set up for the next week or two, I'll email you an intake form, fill that out as much as you can, and we'll start with that. You can email it back to me so at that first meeting we can just hit the ground running. And again, it's free. We'll talk about it and we'll see what's needed or not needed.
Paul, a gentleman, we had sent, because we knew you were going to start tonight, we had sent out like a poll, questions to certain people, and this gentleman named Robert, which I think I'm going to have you say the phone number because he may call. He wants to know how much access of Paul Solomon does he get on a deal. And the second part of the question is, because we're in fourth quarter, tax consequences to what you're going to be doing, is that vital and important to do something before the next
of the year?
filing? Yeah.
Yeah, correct. So you get me. I mean, LUHU Advisors is my team that's behind me. I answer every phone. It's coming to my cell phone. I call you either right back within the hour, if I'm sitting with somebody within the 24 hours. After that, if you do sign up with LUHU Advisors, then my team gets involved. I put everything together. I have somebody that helps me take care of the Medicaid side. Again, now you have my cell phone number, so you can speak to me or speak to my assistant. If it's something with real estate, my wife's involved. She's a real estate agent, so she gets involved with real estate. If it's an attorney that I work with very closely with, know him for 40 years, and his paralegals that we deal with. So I'm kind of the quarterback. I set up the file. I put everything together. And again, I bring in everybody else that I think you might need. And everybody has different fees. My fee is directed towards, again, the Medicaid planning, the financial planning, and the real estate that's involved. Yes, the fourth quarter is important. I had some planning I was doing today, actually, for somebody. And the advice is we needed to move money. And the financial advisor said, hey, we're coming up to the end of the year. Let's move some money now, and then let's move some money in the beginning of the year for tax reasons. And I said, hey, we can do that. But if we do that, then we can't get the Medicaid benefits until that money's moved until next year. So here comes tax questions. I'm not a tax advisor. And again, I'm not an attorney. But I know enough over the years and my personal things that I've done where I can talk intelligently enough to set somebody up to get those answers. But yes, it is the last quarter, so it's something that we need to look at.
And what do we do? Siblings. Siblings, one wants to help mom and dad, the other say, oh, I really can't deal with it. You deal with mom and dad say, I'm staying where I am. Can we call you to kind of quarterback this whole family situation?
So it's again, I've lived this. So this started, and my wife would sit here, just keep shaking her head if she was sitting right next to me. This all started with my mom and dad. So here I am, I'm the youngest in the family, I'm the baby. No matter how old I am, I'll be the baby, trying to explain to my parents what needs to be done, and they kept giving me pushback. And I'll say we're probably a year into having this conversation with them, and I said to my wife, you know what, I've tried. I really can't go any further. I just don't know what to do. And my wife kept saying, no, keep having the conversation. They'll give in. I'm telling you, they'll give in. Susan's been around my family for 30-something years. Just keep doing it. You're saying the right things. You want to do the right thing. And sure enough, I got them to understand how important it was. I go into so many different family situations, and the son or daughter says, my mom or dad won't listen to us. You know, we've tried everything. You won't be able to do it. They won't listen to you. And I said, it's funny how when I walk in there, they will listen to me. Not that I'm demanding, but I'll go and explain to them how important it is and how they worked all these years and want to protect the assets, leave a legacy behind. And the only way to do that is to plan. And most family situations I walk into, it's the mom or dad that they don't really want to give up the information. They're either embarrassed of what they have left because they've spent so much money and they didn't save now for that rainy day. Now that they're 80, 85, 90 years old, there's just nothing left. So they're embarrassed, or they don't want the adult children to know what they have because they're going to either fight over it, put them away so they can steal their money before they're up. And I say, you know what, I understand that. We can plan to protect that. But when the rain starts to rain, we're talking typhoon. The money that's going to be spent on care, again, that's another story I'll tell. We were spending tens of thousands of dollars a month until I got my mom to understand it's not endless. We have to turn the spigot off.
How important is the power of attorney maybe to have two? Because if your spouse is aging while you're aging,
right?
Should there be a second in line? Is there such a thing as having a second in line?
Successor, it's called.
Okay.
Yes. So, again, I can relate, right? So my family, my mom wanted to treat the three of us, because I have a brother and sister, equally. And she didn't want to think that one of us might think the other one's more important, that she loves them more than the others. So she had all three of us And she put and, Paul and my brother and my sister. So that meant all three of us had to make decisions. I finally had to put my foot down on my mom and say, listen, I'm here. They're not. If decisions have to be made, I'll speak to them, but we want one person kind of in charge. And then if I either go away or I can't be there for that moment, let's have a successor in place so that there's somebody else that they can reach out and talk to. I did happen to have, in the last couple weeks, the mother didn't trust either the son or the daughter, so we put and, which we don't like to do, but we put and. And you know what? The daughter tried to go around the brother's back and try and go into the bank, and the bank said, sorry, I need your brother here. So it worked. But now the brother's trying to fight, both parents have died, and now they have to get together in the same room to decide how to move things around. And it made it interesting.
Well, I guess that goes back to your question, Freddie. If that happens, now they got to call Paul again, because now mom's passed, dad's passed. Now you have sister and brother.
Right.
Do they now call Paul Solomon of LUHU Advisors and say, Paul, can you help us out here?
Yeah.
And do they get you again?
Yeah, well, this family, I mean, they hired me to do Medicaid planning from the mom and dad. Well, I was brought in a little late. Dad passed away within a couple weeks. I got involved, so we couldn't do planning. But because we couldn't do planning, because they had a bunch of assets, I couldn't shift everything to the mom quick enough to help plan for the mom. Then next thing you know, mom passed away. So within a couple months, mom and dad both passed away. Assets in New York, down here, different names. I did get power of attorney signed while they were still competent. That helped them while they were alive. And people don't understand, once somebody passes away, the power of attorney dies with them. So depending upon beneficiaries or a trust that was set up, now it can get kind of funky. So this family, they just buried their mom and their dad, and I spoke to them. They said, give us another couple weeks while we straighten everything out, lift all the rocks, see what's going to come out, but we're going to need your help to figure out what to do. So it's an ongoing thing. They can hire an attorney. Certain things they will need an attorney, certain things they won't. I'm a lot cheaper than the attorney, plus I'm hands-on. I will pick up the phone, I'll meet with you, I'll get involved with it, and we'll figure out what to do with the assets. For now, you. And part of the planning, then the next planning is for the adult children, is what do you have for long-term care? How are you protecting yourself? There's so many different mysteries about long-term care, too expensive, the premiums go up and things like that, but we can fix all that. We can make sure that the premiums don't increase over your lifetime. We can get involved with companies, A-rated companies, that can protect your assets and think of it as an investment, not an expense. So that's what we look at as we pass the money along to the next generation.
Paul, what's the phone number people could reach you at?
My cell phone's the only number I have, so it's directly to me. It's 954-540-6609, 954-540-6609.
Mary from St. Pete asks, what is your biggest strength as a senior advisor? Why go to you as opposed to any other senior advisor in Florida?
Well, again, I have the certification, Certified Senior Advisor. So there are plenty of people, as we know and as you meet, that deal with seniors day to day. But I feel my strength is, A, I'm living it. I've been living it for 13 years. I know what you're going through. I can tell you what's the next step, especially if your mom or dad are going through dementia and Alzheimer's. They're at this stage, and even though you can't maybe pigeonhole them, I'm going to say this is what's coming up. This is what's going to happen. I kind of can foresee it because I lived it through my dad and I'm living it through my mom. So that's the last 10, 11 years of my life, living it every day and understanding what your needs are going to be. Power of attorney, it's the most important thing while somebody's competent. I don't care if you say you have one, you got to check it, see who the power of attorney is, see if there's a successor there, because otherwise you're going down the road of guardianship. And again, I'm not an attorney, but I've been through guardianship with families. It's time, it's money, and you can't make decisions off your hip or off the cuff like you can with a power of attorney. So it's really important to make sure the legal document's in place, and that's the first thing I check. So I'm looking at your power of attorney. You don't need to call the attorney right away. I'll take a look at it, and if there are issues, it just happened the other day, something didn't look right to me, I called my attorney, he picks up the phone and says, yep, you're right. I sent it over to them. Yeah, you're right. They really need to come in and fix this. So again, I'm just reading them, and I could see it over these years of what's wrong with it. Financially, your financial advisor, as I always hear, yeah, he's a really nice guy. And I get it. He's a really nice guy. He's been good to you for all these years, but now it's time for him maybe to step aside a little bit. I'm not saying I need to take over completely, but maybe you need, a second set of eyes and ears on those documents, the financial statements that I can help with. So I think I'm well-rounded, and I think I'm well-rounded more than a lot of people that are out there. I consider myself an expert. A lot of people do, and I keep hearing, I wish we knew you 3 or 4 years ago. I wish I knew you. All the money I spent with the attorneys, all the money we lost because we didn't know what to do with the money. I spoke to Medicaid, I spoke to VA. They say I couldn't qualify when they could have, all right? And I'll give you that honest answer before you sign up with me and say, you know what, we can do something here, let's move forward.
Is there a way to layer benefits? Can there be VA benefits plus Medicare benefits, or is that double dipping?
No, you can do it. It gets to be double dipping when somebody's in a nursing home. So you can have the VA long-term care benefits, which is money to help pay for care. You could also get the Medicaid benefits, which they either give you dollars to help pay for care, or they're going to give you hours of care through an assisted living. So we can combine that with your Social Security, which you keep, with a pension you might have. We can combine all that to protect you every month. The only time it changes is when somebody goes into a nursing home, then VA drops down to a very low amount. So if that's the double dipping that we're talking about, when it comes to a nursing home, Medicaid kind of takes the full amount, and they do take your pension and your Social Security as a copay deductible, but the state of Florida then would help pay for the rest of that bill. And again, we're talking about the state of Florida. Just want to let people know I'm licensed in the state of Florida for what I do. I reach out to other states around the country because most of the family members might have their loved ones here, but they live in other states and they don't know the rules about Florida. And I'm getting the phone calls from around the country saying my mom's in Delray, Boca Raton, South Florida. Can you help us? And I can.
You have, there's a program that's going to start signing up next month.
Open enrollment.
Open enrollment.
Medicare.
Medicare. Yes.
And the question that I have is they're asking, because you're going to be having people come into studio now.
Right.
So you can sit down with those that have Medicare and those that don't and want to sign up and things like, can you help people with that?
So again, I know a lot about a lot of things. Medicare is a completely different animal. And I have one or two people that I'm comfortable with that I know that are experts in the field that I could bring in to studio if I know that if we're going to have those questions or the people that might want more information with that. There's Medicare Advantage, there's supplements. I've kind of gone through them all personally for my own family, but if somebody wants to go through open enrollment or change plans, that's where I bring somebody else in that I know and I can trust that will give you the straight answer on what you need. Can you change? Can you not change? There's so many different times during the course of the year that you can change depending upon what's going on in your life. So that's completely a different animal, but that's one of my partners that I have that I know, okay, that's not my strength, but I know enough about it to say, you know what, there's maybe something you can do, better benefits. Let's bring somebody else in, and that's when I do.
You can come here to get all those answers in one shot. So I think that's very convenient. What's the phone number again?
It's 954-540-6609, or you can go to my website at LUHUadvisors.com, fill out a form, and I will get back to you through my email.
I think we might have time for one more question. We've got about a minute left. Will your planning help long-term 3, 4, 5 years out, or is it just immediate if we need Medicaid or VA benefits or papers now?
Yeah, I mean, most of my clients are crisis mode. So there's something's going on. Now all of a sudden the faucet's turned on, they're starting to spend money. I love to help people 3, 4, 5 years down the road. That's the best planning for me because I could set them up. We could set them up financially. We can set them up with long-term care. There's great life insurance products that we can use. Again, I'm talking about not expenses, but as an investment because again, my licenses that I have, I can talk to you about it. I have a team behind me and behind my insurance license that I have people, they help me do illustrations, they help me do the quoting. I tell them, here's the family situation. So again, another team member that I have that I bring in to help me with the insurances, and then I have other team members to help me with placements and things like that. So I hope I got the word out tonight to understand what LUHU Advisors is about, what I'm about, and please give me a call at 954-540-6609. I look forward to seeing everybody again next week or listening to me again next week. Call us again, 888-994-4995 in studio. I look forward to it. Thank you for being with me tonight.
Thank you for watching the LUHU Advisor Show. Tune in each week for more tips and strategies for starting the conversation with your loved ones, from senior housing to financial planning strategies. Contact Paul Solomon at 954-540-6609. We'll see you next time.